been waiting for you, Obi Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Jesus H. Goddamn MF Christ. This show is bad. So what's going on, everybody? It's your main man. Back on the scene with another video. This Obi Wan show. The only reason to watch it is to roast it. This stuff is just terrible. How do you retcon the original movie? So let's get into this episode. So, after they board the ship, they get to their destination. And I don't see how the Empire doesn't know, which they do know, that where they're headed. And they're walking around out in the middle of nowhere, which makes no sense. And there's stormtroopers around, and none of them know who he is. They're not, they weren't waiting for him when they got off the ship, which they should have been, since they knew where he was going. It just makes no sense. But while they're walking, he has a vision of Anakin in a robe. And I don't have a problem with that because I thought the show should have been about him in turmoil with his failure due to Anakin turning to the dark side. So I can see him having visions and nightmares and stuff like that. So this fits. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyways, Reva is meeting with the other Inquisitors. She's telling them that she spoke to Vader, which I don't know why she would have, but she did. I don't like how I don't know if it's the actress or how they just have her portraying the character. I don't want to blame her for something if it's not her fault, but she's just angry all the time, just one-dimensional. And of course, she had to put Asian man in his place. That's what the women on this show do. Bossy. They have all the answers, and they must put toxic masculinity in its place. And she has them send the probes out. Unless they want to answer to Vader. So Obi Wan and Leia, they run up on this guy driving I'm going to say it's a truck. Some type of transport truck. And Leia, being the brilliant child that she is, comes up with a plan to hitch a ride with this guy on this truck. Old boy here is a supporter of the Empire. And Leia cooks up this story about that's her father and they're traveling, blah, blah, blah. So they get a ride. And during the ride, they pick up some stormtroopers. And this is where it gets real corny. Like, how come they didn't know who he was? They knew where he was going. But they didn't know who he was. This makes no sense whatsoever. But the best moment on here, I'll give them this, was when Leia, they're talking, and she asked him, was he her real father? And I think that was a little sweet moment. That was the best moment in the entire show. This is when it gets real bad. So the probe reaches the planet. They identify Obi Wan. Pulls out his little pew pew. Shoots the probe and the guards. Wipes them out. And then this transport vehicle shows up with 3 more troopers and a female officer. And she pew-pews them once they get off. And what really bothers about this scene is Obi-Wan is on his knees. There's 3 stormtroopers, or 4, let's say 4 officers. 3 stormtroopers, 1 officer. With his lightsaber, he could have taken them out with no problem. Deflected their firepower, cut them up. But no, he gets on his knees. And they just totally destroyed this character. And of course, he had to be saved by a woman, because, you know, women do everything in this show. Reva with the Asian Inquisitor. I don't know what his name is. You know, we gotta include everybody. It's so phony that it's ridiculous. But you know, right here, she's putting him in his place because he's a toxic man, and he has to be put in his place. The women do everything in this show. The men are punks, especially Obi Wan. Obi Wan is a punk. They turn him into a punk. So Vader arrives, and this is the main part that really gets to me. I mean, he just dogged Obi-Wan. One hand. Dogged him out. Had him on his knees. Set the man on fire. Well, he started a fire and he drug Obi-Wan through the fire so he could suffer. Then he gets saved by a woman, of course. The droid, the slow-moving droid, you know, they start a fire. And Vader's just looking at him while the droid picks up Obi-Wan and walks away. Like, Vader could have just probably force blew the wind out or jumped over the flames and finished both of them off. But he just stood there looking. It's like, you have to be consistent with their power. This stuff is just terrible. And this scene right here, what really gets me is, in A New Hope, that's the first time they saw each other since Obi-Wan sliced and diced him. At least in the movie, that is. So how is it that they have a conflict here? This stuff is just bad Disney writing. It's like, they don't even care about their own stuff. This is, you know, Star Wars is dead. This is the bottom line. The same thing they did to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. They made him a coward. He was a punk. He was bitter. It's the same thing with Obi-Wan. Oh, the Jedi are finished. We lost. This stuff is bad, man. I'm telling you, the only reason to watch this is to roast it. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to long stroke you. I'm going to wrap this up. And like, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.